Hello and welcome to the introduction video of the simple texture baker add-on. It's a blender add-on, obviously, for texture baking. Again, obviously. So we will start from basic tour of the add-on. We will not show how to install add-on cause it's I think very simple, and if you don't know how to install add-ons, then why you have installed blender. Anyways, I'm kidding. So first of all, I am a Anula and I am a 3D artist, and to be honest, this is my first add-on as a digital product I launched in the market. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so when you purchase the add-on from Gumroad or maybe from the Blender market, you should have the .py file or maybe the zip file. So all you have to do, open Blender, go to Edit, Preferences, go to Add-ons, install from disk, choose your add-on and then install it. As I already installed it, so I am not installing it again. So here we have the add-on simple texture baker. It's installed already. So let's start with a basic tour of the add-on. Okay, so this is the add-on. It has many options, many things. We will discuss each and every option one by one, nice and slowly. So basically, the purpose of the add-on was to bake textures materials in a very nice decent way, in super simple way. I had to make this I don't know very simple and easy because I had to struggle over things in baking. Basically, Blender baking system is good. It gives us a nice result, but the process is very you can say boring. So that's why I created this Blender add-on. It has special features for me, and might be extra features for you. Like you might not have seen something like these features in any other add-on. Specifically in texture baking add-ons. So okay, so first we have the image options, like sorry, mesh map options, like the final image options. We have the texture size option. What will be the final size of the big texture map or a mesh map or image texture? What you can say. So for by default, we have 2K image, which is good for or maybe enough for game series. But you can change it yourself as you want. Then we have the margin. And if you don't know what is margin, then you can say that if any UV island has boundary, then this margin will extend that boundary by this pixel. This 16 is actually pixel. Margin is the count in pixels. Like if there is a 16 pixel margin, then the boundary, like it will create extra boundary over the UV island uh, by 16 pixel. So in most cases, we have seen the margin by 2 pixel or maybe 1 pixel. Then we have the samples. Samples actually, to be honest, it doesn't make any difference to the render result or baking result or baking process. It gives us the same result and same process time. So you can set it to 1000 to 1 million, but it will give you you can say the same result or same process time, taken time. So yeah, it doesn't make any difference. It's just for you can say is a formality we edit it, or you can say for enjoyment, amusement. Let's go below. We have the devices option as well. Now this is a super necessary point in the add-on, cause I have checked other add-ons which only work for CPU only. I mean they only consume CPU for baking. But by this add-on, I tried 7 objects bake at one time. There were 4 mesh maps with 8K resolution. Now you can imagine 8K resolution is super high, extra high. With 8K resolution, there were 4K. There were 4 mesh maps. Like if there were 7 objects, and 7 multiplied by 4, 4 mesh maps, then total images were 28. So these 28 images just took 2 minutes and 55 seconds to bake in 8K resolution, and the device was set to GPU only. So yeah, this is the important point about the add-on. To basically, the device option was added for to increase the process time of the texture baking. If you have a better GPU, you can select a GPU only. If you have a better CPU, you can select CPU only. You can select both at time, but I will suggest that you should just use a single device at a time, because it give us more faster result. By using both, actually didn't give us a late result, or it to take some extra time. It just take you can say 20 to 25 seconds, but yes, in 3D world, 20 to 25 seconds are also greater, also a great time for us. So yeah, you can choose both, or you can choose only one. Then we have the format option, what will be the format of the mesh maps. They should be PNG or they should be JPEG, whatever you want. All options that they have. These are the most necessary options for mesh maps. So yeah, I added them. Then we have the back mode. Back mode, it's actually, for example, if I can explain you the combined back mode only. So if you have only a single object and you wanna bake the materials, so what you have to choose? You have to choose either a combined bake or individual bake, because you have only one object, right? So it doesn't make any sense to choose from a single. If you are strict that what should I choose, so it doesn't make any difference by choosing any bake mode. You can choose combined bake, you can choose individual bake, so you are good to go. But if you have more than one objects, if you have 3 to 5 objects, 7, 8 objects, you have to choose a specific bake mode. If you wanna bake all the materials to one mesh map, then you have to choose a combined bake. Now what it will do then, when you hit bake and the baking starts, it will bake all the materials to single image, one texture set. And for this option, it's necessary that the UVs of all the objects should not overlap with the other object UVs. So all the UVs should be baked properly with no overlapping issues. And if you have again multiple objects, and you have choose the individual bake mode, so what it will do, it will basically bake all the materials uh, for their it will bake all the materials to specific and individual mesh map or image texture. So yeah, these were the bake mode options. We'll also explain this more in the video when we do an example. But yeah, this was a quick guide for bake modes. Then we have the bake tray, which is obviously for baking objects. You have to put your objects in that tray which you wanna bake. You can put all objects at once, and you can put it one by one. It's all up to you, and you can remove any object from the baking tray, and you can also clear out the tray all in once, so you don't have any object in the tray. Now the next option is actually the plus pointer for the addon, cause it do the high poly to low poly baking in just a single click. Not actually that single click, but actually in three steps. First step is to choose high poly model. Then second step is to choose the low poly model from the eyedropper. Then the third step is to click bake normals, and that's it. What it does, it basically detects the high poly model, and it copies their normals and bake to the low poly model, uh, low poly model on their UVs. So yeah, this was the plus point. And basically, if you have seen some guys doing this job manually in Blender, so that method is you can say very boring and very you can say unsatisfied method. You have to create a separate images, and then you have to select that image textures. You have to make sure that the high poly is selected last. So yeah, this thing doesn't look good in this kind of workflow. So that's why I added this option. By this option only you have to choose the high poly mesh, low poly mesh, and then big normal. So it is that simple with the add-on. Now next we have the back to custom UVs. Now what does it mean? For example, if I can show you, um, I wanna bake the textures of that Susan to the new fresh UV maps. What I will do, I will create a new UV map, and I will do unwrapping. By this I will unwrap this monkey again by smart TV unwrap. Now if I want to bake the materials from this UV to this UV, what I will do, I will select the option, or maybe enable the option bake to custom UV, and then I will copy the name and paste it here. Now when we do baking, the addon will bake the materials from the original UV map to the second UV map, which will be the copy UV map, or we can say the secondary UV map. So yeah, this is also maybe a good point. So yeah, this was the option for custom UVs. On which UV you wanna bake the materials. Then we have the output folder. Obviously, you have to choose the directory for the mesh maps. When the baking gets done, the mesh maps will be automatically exported to that folder or directory. And after that, we have the mesh maps. Finally, we have almost 12 to 13 mesh maps, I guess. It has all the necessary mesh maps: diffuse, normal, roughness, metallic, transmission. All the necessary mesh maps are included here. And after that, we have the ID maps, ID map baker as well. What is ID maps? Basically, ID maps are used to select objects by color. ID map is actually a color. It actually generates different highly saturated color for each UV islands to select them as a color. Like if you wanna select any UV island, you don't need to select it by yourself. You have to give a color that UV island, and you just need to select that UV. Oh, sorry, that color, and it will select that UV island. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, and this is how ID maps are used. And then we have the UV export option, and this option might be not looking good in these add-on, cause who need a UV export in texture packing add-ons. But to be honest, I need it because I have to work with the UVs inside of Photoshop or Illustrator to place some labels or anything on their specific UV islands. In Blender 3.6, this option was there, but after Blender 3.6, they removed the UV export option from the Blender. So as I said, I need it in my workflow, so that's why I added this thing in my addon, because I didn't have any other option. So this is for my purpose. If you wanna use it, you are good to go, you can use it, but specifically I edited this thing for myself. Then we have the lastly post bake actions, create material and duplicate. What it does, it basically create a specific material for all the objects which were baked, and it assign all the images or mesh maps to that material, and it duplicates the objects and assign that material to all the objects. Not only this, but it also remove the original UV maps. So we have only the UV map on which the textures are baked, so we can see the result, like how the mesh maps are looking. And obviously we don't need the original UV map, because we have baked the materials to the new UV map. So that's why it deletes the original UV map and only remain the uh, secondary UV map. And then lastly we have the progress bar. It shows the progress from 1% to 0 to 100%. It shows the total mesh maps count, and also it shows the number of objects which are baking currently, and also it shows the elapsed time. So yeah, it was a quick guide over the addon. Now we will do a small baking project with this addon, so we can go more on the option in more detail. So let's start from the texture baking process. Okay, so for instance, we will bake these object, the materials actually to one texture set. So let's go to the addon and see what we can do with the texture baking through the addon. So first, let me just add all the objects to the baking tray. Let me see what is going here. Okay, we have I think 9 to 10 meshes, and each mesh has a separate material. So now what we will do, we will bake all the materials to a single mesh map for a single texture set. So for this, what I will do, I will create new UVs for each object, on which we will bake the materials. So I have created a separate UVs for all the meshes, so we can bake the materials on that UV map. And so if you wanna bake the materials to specific UV, what we will do, we will select the bake to custom UV. We will copy the name of that UV channel or UV map, and place that UV map or UV name in the addon section. Okay, so we have set the UVs. Now let's just set the resolution. We'll go for 4K resolution, or maybe 6K. So for this example, we will go for 6K. We can go for 4K as well, but I will suggest if you have more than 5 objects, you have to go for 4K texture baking. Then you will get proper and the best result of the mesh maps. But when you have more than 5 objects, then you have to go far from the 4K, because when the object gets you can say increases when the object gets increase, then the UV island get dense. So when the UV get dense, then the resolution decreases by itself. So we will lose the details when the resolution decreases and object increases. So you have to increase the resolution with the object count. So as I have 6 to 9 objects, so I will go for 6K uh, baking. Okay, our resolution is set to 6K. Margin is 16, but I will choose 2. As I explained the margin earlier, so I'm not gonna explain it again. I have set it to 2 pixels. Sample is 1, it's okay. Device is selected GPU only, it's okay. Back mode, combine back, okay. Let's go below. We have the mesh maps. Everything looks good. But I will not bake the other mesh maps for now, because first I will check that what I am getting. If I get satisfied from the diffuse mesh map, then I will bake the other mesh maps as batch. I will just select all and then wait for baking. So and as I have selected 6K baking, uh, so it will maybe take some time. So yeah, I will speed up the video here, but I will show you how much time it take on the 9 objects 6K map baking. Let's just start baking. Okay. We have not set an output folder, so let me just set up it. Okay, we are okay. Okay, so the baking is done and it took 16 minutes to bake 7 mesh maps into a single image in 6K resolution. Now I will check if the diffuse map is okay, then we will do the rest of the mesh maps, like we will do baking of the mesh maps, like the normal map, roughness, metallic, etc. So let's go to the very bottom of the add-on, create material and duplicate. Let's go to the material view and see if the diffuse map is okay. Okay, so we made a mistake here. We select the second UV, but we didn't unwrap the second UV, so it has overlapping issues. Let me show you what I mean. As you can see, the UVs are extended from the UDIMs from the island, so that's why we got issue. So what we will do now, we'll press Ctrl Z and let's go back more. I guess Ctrl Z again. Yes. Okay. So now, as we saw that we got issues, and actually it was our mistake. We didn't unwrap the second UV. So now I will do first unwrapping. I will select what I will do. I will select that UV in each object, in each mesh, and then after that I will unwrap all the objects at once, so we don't have any overlapping issue. And for okay, so now let's just unwrap all the meshes. Let's go to the UV editing. I select all the mesh, go to UVs, and let's press U for unwrap and hit unwrap. Okay, so now the UVs are unwrapped. Let's just pack them and go to the pack island section and pack the islands. Okay, now we are good to go. Now we can do the baking. And as we do not have any issues with the meshes, so now what I will do, I will select all the mesh maps and do the baking. Okay, so the baking is done, and let me show you the final result. Like what mesh map I got. Okay, so these are the mesh maps we got from the texture baking. As you can see, this time it took me 25 minutes to bake all the meshes. The resolution is 7K. So yeah, 20 minutes for 7K resolution is fine. It's not so much time. And now let's see the model, how it is looking when we apply the materials. Sorry, the textures which we baked just now. Okay, as you can see, all the objects are using a single material. So yeah, it's a good pointer for GLP files. If you want this model, like in website, you can good to go. This model is ready for website. Is You can export it as GLP. Let me show you the render view. Okay, so here we are in the render view. As you can see, the quality of the textures, we don't have any you can say low resolution issues. All the mesh maps are very highly detailed, and the normal map was only big in 7K. Other maps are in 4K, cause a normal map need you can say high quality resolution, so that's why I bake it in 7K. But yes, this looks amazing. Now you can export it as GLB, so you can use it for website or for 3D view or something like this. So yeah, this was the texture baking. Okay, so now we will do the high poly to low poly baking through the addon. So we have this rock which is a super high resolution, and I think it has 57K vertices, yeah, 57K polygons, you can say. So we will first convert this rock to low poly, so that we can bake the normals to the low poly from the high poly. But before, let me just delete all the unnecessary collections, and I will rename this rock to a high for high poly, and duplicate it, shift D for low poly, low. Now, this is one thing is necessary for high poly to low poly baking, that the location of the high poly and low poly should be the same. Like you should snap the low poly measure to the high poly. You don't have to change the locations of the low poly. If you do this, like I have done it like this, I change the location of low poly. Now, when we do the baking, the normals will be not correct. You will got some issues. So yeah, this necessary that the location should be the same for both. You should snap the low poly to high poly. Let me undo it, and now let's just remeasure the low poly version. For this, I will go to the remesh tab in the object data, remesh voxel and 0.05, I guess. Let's just remesh it. Let me see. Yes, okay. Now the selected object has 1000 vertices. As you can see, we have 1000 vertices in this measure, and this measure has a 57K. So I think this is okay for a perfect game asset. So now let's do the baking. What I will do, I will select the high poly first through eyedropper. Then select the low poly. Now we will set the extrusion value, and to be honest, I don't know what extrusion means and what it do. But if you set it to 0, you will have might have some issues with the normal map. And in most cases, extrusion, if you set it to zero point 0.5 or zero point 0.1, it give us a very nice result. So in this case, I will try zero point 0.5 meter. Mm, and the max distance, it should be 0. I don't know what it do, but yeah, I have set it to 0, and let's see the result. But before baking the normal maps, I have to unwrap the low poly mesh, because we did remeshing, so the normals, sorry, the UVs got some issues. Here you can see it has overlapping, it has many weird issues. So what I will do, I will select the high poly, sorry, I will select the low poly and smart UV unwrap. Okay, now it's perfectly unwrap, but let me just pick it as well. Go to UVs, pack islands 0.001. Okay, let's pick it. Okay, now it has the overlapping issues. So let's do the baking. Okay, okay, let's just set the output folder. We didn't set it. I have set it here. It's okay. Okay, so the output folder is set. Let's just bake the normals. And the good thing about this that you don't need to tell the addon that which UV map you use, like and which UV map you have to bake the normals. Like in the ordinary baking in which we bake the materials, you have to tell the addon that bake the normal meshes maps to that specific UV map. But in this scenario, in the high poly to low poly baking, it bakes the high poly detail automatically to the low poly UV map, which will be the original UV map, the first UV map which it has. So yeah, you don't need to tell the addon that bake the high poly normals to that specific UV map of the low poly mesh. And yes, the baking is done. Now let's see the result. What I will do now, I will go to the shading and let's just move the other mesh here. Okay, so let's create separate material for the low poly mesh. What I will do, I will remove this material and create brand new material, and I will press Ctrl Shift T to bring the normal map. Now I will disable the base color so we have the same color for both, so we can check the result and quality of the normal map. Okay, so as you can see, both meshes. This is the high poly and the result is super stunning. I am surprised that this has only 1k. This in the left side you can see this has only 1k vertices and this has 57k, and still the result is in your screen. How beautiful it is. Yes, I am surprised, although I am surprised from the result. It's perfect, almost perfect, or might to be more than perfect. It's just amazing. So yeah, and this was for the today's video. It was the good introduction to the addon. If you wanna purchase the addon, I have attached the link to the in comment and in the description as well. So yeah, give it a purchase and leave me you can say feedback. Yes, so thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment and share.